You probably noticed I didn't really talk about any of this. Well, the Great One just dipped. And truth be told, I barely watched any professional wrestling. Let me explain. I saw a lot of you showing concern, which I really appreciate, but don't worry about the Great One, he'll be fine. But outside of that malfunctioning brain, after every WWE show, I didn't really feel excited to talk about it. I felt like there's nothing really to talk about. Is WWE objectively bad? Probably not. I just felt like it's really boring, and selfishly, for a wrestling content creator, that is the worst type of professional wrestling. I guess one reason I stopped watching is because I wanted to miss it. Well, obviously my channel suffered because I didn't get any views, didn't make any money. I'll be sucking fluids out of my furniture for food. I feel like I kinda needed that break, and I'll get into all the reasons in this video. For the first time in my YouTube career, I actually took a legitimate break. I tried my best not to think about wrestling, about YouTube, which is obviously almost impossible, but I did my best. I spent a lot of time with my family. I finished Uncharted 4 again and played some Red Dead Redemption 2. By God, I turned into a gamer. I don't know what this character is, and I'm probably the only one who finds it funny. Gamer. This is just a guess, but I feel like there's such a big difference between the WWE that got so many fans to watch again and the current WWE. Here's why WWE got so good once Triple H took over. The focus was on creative, giving us great storylines, must-watch TV that eventually translated to ticket sales, merch sales, and in general, people being excited about the product. Obviously, WWE like that, but it's like WWE are doing it so differently right now. Like, the whole focus is on business, which makes sense in theory, but it's like they're taking wrestling fans for granted right now, because instead of actually giving us a reason to watch the show, they're like, we're gonna charge you a lot of money, we're gonna give you plenty of premium live events with barely any build, and paying a lot of money is just something you should be used to. You know, which makes sense again when it comes to business, but it doesn't feel justified anymore. Unlike some WWE or AEW fanboys, the amount of money WWE makes doesn't concern me. I never understood this logic, people. Oh, you think WWE sucks right now? Well, look at the amount of money they make. Look at these sponsors. Look at these sponsors. Look at that prime bottle right here. Look at that piss-tasting bottle. Why do I know how it tastes? How do I know how it tastes? So what? I'm not getting paid by WWE. I'm a viewer. I'm a consumer. That shouldn't bother me. And right now, currently, no matter how much WWE makes, the content I'm seeing doesn't excite me necessarily. Okay, it's just me talking about the vibe I'm personally feeling. But lately it seems like WWE took so many L's, the product is just not as appealing as it was. Or maybe it's just that WrestleMania hangover, because I've noticed every time there's May, which by the way I turned 26 this month on May 19th, yes, special day for me and Kane, I always lose a lot of interest. Now, don't get me wrong, I had a lot of catching up to do. The wrestling part of YouTube was starving people. 2 weeks without the Great One's content. People were starving, riots were happening because where the f is the Great One? So yes, it would be unfair if I just left you there waiting for WWE content, hearing that pristine opinion of the Great One, and I'm just here chilling in Hawaii. So I did some catching up, and when you're not watching the entire show, when you're just watching highlights, I feel like you can almost feel like WWE is actually getting better, because we did get plenty of highlights. First of all, the Wyatt Six are back in the WWE, and it seems like they're going to focus on the WWE Tag Team Championships. It's a faction I never thought are going to become champions, and a lot of people would probably feel like this kind of gimmick doesn't need championships. I don't know, man. Like, at the end of the day, I know it's a supernatural gimmick, but like, your wrestlers getting a championship in theory makes you successful. You should want to be successful, dominate the division. I guess it makes sense. It's really unfortunate that WWE never followed up on the hype the Wyatt Six eventually got when they debuted. I remember people were so excited. The amount of views I got, every content creator got from just, talking about it. So that's always a very good indicator. The hype was unreal, and unfortunately, nothing came even close. But I'm so happy to see them back. I feel like we can't really blame WWE entirely, because I think Bo Dallas was injured, and eventually I can't wait to see how Alexa Bliss joins this faction. So this is pretty good, finally WWE are doing something. Now let's talk about Saturday night's main event, people. I actually almost recorded a video, but I hated this experience. This was the worst watching wrestling experience the great one ever experienced, because this was the first time ever I was like, show me commercials. I'm just sitting in silence, eating popcorn, and I'm not seeing anything. Show me a good vacuum cleaner! Show me something! So on one hand you're like, okay, Saturday night's main event is keeping it classic, there's no sponsors on the ring, but then you're stuck watching a match which 70-60% of it is just commercials. It was actually unwatchable. I honestly felt that way. I was so shocked. Like, if I'm going to be watching Saturday night's main event next time, I'm not gonna do it live. It completely ruins the experience. But Bronson Reed joined Heyman's faction, people. Wouldn't be my first choice. Didn't even think about this possibility. Let me explain. Obviously, people feel like it makes no sense because Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed have history. It's very easily explained. Seth Rollins was impressed by Bronson Reed. He was impressed by how he was handling his arse. So he's like, well, we gotta get this guy. Now, I don't mind it, I really do like Bronson Reed, but I really feel like it should have been someone like Austin Theory for a very simple reason. It fits in a bit more. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker are somewhat similar in a way. So this faction has two big guys, which in theory, in kayfabe, makes a lot of sense for Seth Rollins. But at the same time, isn't it a bit too similar in a way? That's what made Evolution so special, because every single guy involved was very, very different. You had Ric Flair was shooting dust out of his PP at this point. You have Triple H was the guy who's Seth Rollins of this faction. You had Batista, somebody who's here to protect everybody. And you have Randy Orton, clearly the future of the WWE. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not actually complaining about it. I don't mind the decision, I just feel like wouldn't be my first choice, necessarily. Also, John Cena helped Logan Paul, but Cody made his return and Jey Uso retained the championship, meaning we're getting Logan Paul and John Cena versus Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes at Money in the Bank. So here's what I don't like about it. Let's get into it. He should be defending the championship at Money in the Bank. Come on, it's Money in the Bank, CM Punk, John Cena, it's so easy. What are you doing at this point, WWE? Come on. A tag team match, main eventing. I'm not gonna crap all over this because let me explain. I hate Travis Scott's involvement in the WWE. He's not believable. He really isn't believable. On the other hand, as much as we don't like Logan Paul, this is exactly what should have happened in the first place. Logan Paul should have been in Travis Scott's place because it's all about like Hollywood and ruining wrestling and people hate Logan Paul. But he's also good at what he does. It's almost too perfect, and I know people look at this picture and feel like, oh my god, what happened to the game I love? I get it, but at least now it almost makes sense. When he says I'm going to ruin professional wrestling, it almost makes sense, because I feel like for the most part people defending the he's ruining wrestling, it's just coping. It's just really coping, and bad wrestling is bad wrestling. When you're saying you're here to ruin professional wrestling, you're supposed to do it in an entertaining way that, you know, gets heat. I guess John Cena winning with the championship spot does exactly that. A rapper being the highlight of WrestleMania's main event is not. So it's not perfect. I'm not too excited about Money in the Bank's main event, but at least it's somewhat more interesting because I actually made a video that I didn't even upload, but it was about a rumor that we're going to get a Money in the Bank tag team match, which is happening, but instead of Logan Paul, it was supposed to be Travis Scott. Come on. Come on. Some of you probably saw this Raw review. Another reason why I needed a break, because first of all, I turned into a bit of an a-hole, you know, I guess I really needed it. But at the same time, I took some opinions way too seriously, because when I feel like somebody is wrong and they don't understand what I mean, I get very defensive, and that is a big problem and that I really need to work on, right? I'm almost scared to express my opinion sometimes because people take it the wrong way. Obviously, wrestling fans like to think in black and white, you know, it's either this or that and nothing in between. And even though I was one of the biggest Jey Uso supporters, in my video I said, I like the dude, I'm happy he's a champion. What I don't like is that he's way too yeeting. He's yeeting too much. Am I wrong right here? Ever since WrestleMania, he comes out, yeets, the music stops, he's like, oh yeah, and then he yeets again. And then he says nothing, and the promos are garbage. And obviously the response is, oh my god, you're a hater, you're a mark, how dare you? And I take that shit too seriously, because I feel like majority of people do understand, it's just that not everybody leaves a comment, you know, I guess. I wish I could explain better in my videos that if I say something negative about something or positive doesn't mean I'm all in, right? You know what I mean? Like, you can say that Logan Paul, for example, is horrible. He's a douchebag. Nobody actually likes him. But at the same time, I'm always trying to be realistic and tell you, well, he's good at what he does. Whether we like it or not, we can't just say he sucks because we don't like him. I'm always trying to be realistic. That's the same thing with Jey Uso. I like the dude, but I'm not gonna support everything WWE are putting on television. But people, we all go through ups and downs. This is not the end of The Great One on YouTube. I feel like I finally missed wrestling, and most importantly, I definitely missed being on YouTube. To end this video, I want to thank you all for all the years of support and legitimately changing my life.